diverse and wide-ranging interests, right? But still, the common factor is that both the fields are working or dedicated towards the enhancement of the human understanding and of course the experience of the world, which is because of the creative impulse of both the fields. So having considering all these things, we started this lecture series. Actually, this lecture series was conceived as an initiative to begin a dialogue about between the about this art science collaboration, about this role of art and science and the role of science and art. So of course, we can, over the course of time, we can go deeper about it. So because of this, we have divided this lecture series into 4 sessions. This lecture series is going to start from today. So every Wednesday from now, we are going to have one session. So first session is starting from today, 18th October. The second session will be on 25th October. The third session will be on 1st November, and fourth session will be on 8th November. So the first and the second session, the talks will be given by, in the first and second session, the talks will be given by Dr. Arati Kumari, who is currently working as an assistant professor in Department of Languages. The first session will be an introductory session about this art and science collaboration. The second session, which is again will be given by Dr. Arati Kumari, will be primarily about the role of science and art. And the third and the fourth session, that means they will be primarily about the role of art and science. So the third session will be given by Dr. Ranveer Singh, who is currently working as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Indian Institute of Technology, Indore. And the fourth session will be given by Dr. Pallavi Mishra, that is me, who is an assistant professor in Department of Mathematics. So we will be talking about the role interplay of nature and numbers, and the role of mathematics, and the role of mathematics and art, role of art in mathematics. So we'll be talking about all these things. So I want to inform you, so before beginning this lecture series, I want to inform all the participants this thing as well, that if you are having any remarks or suggestion or feedback or any questions, you can ask in the chat box in between the talk as well. And those everything, those questions, those remarks will be taken up by the speaker at the end of the session. So now, today actually the session is going to be handled by Dr. Arati Kumari. So I'm honored and privileged to actually introduce her, or even though she's my colleague and we have been knowing each other since so long. But, so I'm really very happy to introduce her. So Dr. Arati Kumari, actually she has studied Germanistics at Jawaharlal Nehru University, which is one of the prestigious University of India, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. And she did her PhD also from Jawaharlal Nehru University on the topic of In Search of an Other Theatre with Alfred Hellenig. If I have pronounced the name right, ma'am, I'm sorry if I have not pronounced it right. And then actually she has over a decade of professional experience, and she has taught German language in various Indian institutes, including Pondicherry University from 2010 to 2020. She is also a Dart Scholarship receiver. So she's the recipient of German Academic Exchange Program Service, that scholarship, as part of a PhD program which she did at the Free University Berlin from October 2007 to October 2008. And then since 2020 she has been working as an assistant professor and Department of Languages, School of Social Sciences and Languages. So when she started working here, we became colleague, and during one of the walks, actually, I got to know that she is very much interested in this. She was talking about science, even though she's from languages. She was talking about science. So from there, actually, I got the idea that all right, there is a relationship between art and science. So. As far as today's lecture is concerned, the Dr. Arati Kumari's lecture is about the origin of the concepts of art and science on the face of current difference between the two subjects. while taking into account the history of art science relationship in the medieval period, especially in the context of West, it traces the timeline when the divide between the two subjects started and it gradually deepened. So it also gives instances from contemporary art science collaborations that pave the path to bridge the gap between the two fields and ask us to question the self-serving realm of individual fields. So having said all these things, I would like to invite Dr. R.
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi Mishra, for your kind introduction. And thank you, Department of Languages, School of Social Sciences and Languages, and Department of Mathematics, School of Advanced Sciences, for giving me this opportunity to explore the scope, objective, and potential of art science collaboration in today's talk. Before I begin with my lecture, I would like to pay my tribute to Professor Anil Bhatti, who passed away last week on 11th October 2023. The most important Germanists in India. He was the professor emeritus at the Center of German Studies, School of Language, Literature and Culture Studies, JNU, New Delhi. He was known for his scientific integrity, political courage, generosity, and humanity. Today, we deeply miss him and hope that we carry forward his scientific temper, political will, and humanity. This lecture is a tribute to him. So let's begin. We begin with today's lecture. The title is of today's lecture is Scope, Objective, and Potential of Art Science Collaboration. So I begin this presentation with an excerpt from an interview with Merritt Moore, a physicist and a ballet dancer, in response to a question by Laura Hiscott whether she considers herself a scientist or an artist. Moore said, "From early on in our lives, we are taught to distinguish between these two fields, art and science, and the people who pursue them. But what if we are all actually a bit of both? What if science and art have more in common than we realize, both requiring a partnership of analytical and imaginative thinking?" So, before we explore the art science relationship and collaborations, let us get acquainted with the term science actually, which actually means the root of the word science comes from the Latin term scientia, meaning knowledge. By this definition, all the fields of studies with their pursuit for knowledge can be regarded as science. And aptly, we say natural sciences, social sciences, theater sciences, etc. All these sciences have their own goals, objectives, interests, and field of study, and they all stand distinctly apart from each other. In fact, today the line drawn between natural sciences and all other sciences is quite stark, which is a phenomena of the 19th century, as Dr. Pallavi Mishra just said. Prior to that, in the medieval period, according to McCall, a person's science referred to his understanding of a particular topic. Pamela H. Smith, while speaking in the context of the West, says, "When we use the term art today, we mostly mean the visual arts, and by science, at least in the Anglophone world, we must often denote the investigation of nature." However, in her view, these words, art and science, were understood quite differently in early modern Europe. When art, the origin of the concept of the art and science. So when art or arts possessed a much broader connotation of practice and experience and was used in the case of the mechanical arts to refer to the work of the human hand. Science meant theoretical knowledge that could be ascertained with certainty, usually by deductive means. If you look at today's context, it sounds so ironical where we think science is about doing things and arts is about not doing things. Yeah. So So, in order to talk about the scope and potential of the art science collaboration today, it is important to understand the relationship of the two fields in the past. In early modern sense, art was perceived as work of human hand that imitated the nature. According to Smith, art could combine the exact representation of nature and an imitation of the process of nature. The naturalistic representation of nature in art was much more than just vision and description. This is what, at the surface level, this is how we perceive the art sometimes, if we are not into in the field very deeply. The artist Albrecht Dürer from medieval period in Europe argued that okay. It actually relates to the previous, like before we come to Dürer, I'll just read this sentence. Maybe it makes sense in the
Uh,
context. So I was saying that this naturalistic representation of nature in art was much more than just vision and description. It was a mode of investigating, understanding, and knowing nature. Yeah, and the artist Albrecht Dürer, who comes from this medieval period in medieval age in Europe, he argued that like it precedes science, no art, where it was not simply about imitating nature, but they were also trying to understand nature and their and observe it and try to understand it and pictorially theorize it. So Smith argues that techniques of observation and representation of these artists were very important in the development of empirical science. So artisans were fundamental, if not exclusive, motors of scientific development in 15th and 16th centuries. So here we all know this person, Leonardo da Vinci. He comes from the Renaissance period in Europe. He is known for his famous paintings like Mona Lisa, which where you can see he has drawn also the landscape in the background, and it's um, you can see the details of the landscape, icy mountains, and the water body, and the colors, how he has used the colors in the painting. So this is one of his famous painting. Definitely, he had observed the nature very closely to come up with something as real as this. And then we have here another very famous painting, very famous painting by Vinci, The Last Supper. You can see the use of space, depth, light, motion, all in detail, and also the emotion of the figures in this picture. So Vinci was also renowned besides being a very renowned painter, he was also renowned in the fields of civil engineering, chemistry, geology, geometry, hydrodynamics, mathematics, mechanical engineering, optics, physics, pyrotechnics, and geology. While Leonardo da Vinci is best known as an artist, his work as a scientist and inventor make him a true Renaissance man. Yeah. This indicates that during Renaissance period in Europe, marked between 14th to 17th centuries, there was no arts science separation as such. In Japan, the historical monographs called Honzo Gaku, written by Japanese naturalists in Edo period, illustrated by Japanese naturalists in Edo period, which lasted from 17th to 19th century, describe the past flora and fauna of Japan with detailed illustrations, which are important records to understand past patterns of biodiversity. According to Ryota Hayashi, for example, ancient Japanese naturalists recorded epibiotic barnacles attached to marine vertebrates and the trans-Pacific migration of black turtle, while compiling information on Japanese fauna and flora, uh, while compiling information on Japanese fauna and flora into monographs. Despite the lack of modern evidence, these historical documents offer insight into past migratory patterns. So this comes from a time when science was not had not overtaken the knowing of the about the phenomena around us in the world, and they provide a crucial like a document to help us understand the flora fauna of the past. So here is the original illustration and its copy. We can see it in this slide. So the A and the D, you can also see it's mentioned here. A and D are from that period and from that Hanzhao Gaku. Uh, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. So, and then you have here B and E. No, they are the copy of these illustrations, and then we have C and F in how it is in the present time. Okay, so so let's move to the next now. So it's developed their domains separately, very distinctly from each other, and the structures developed by both the fields obscure the commonalities that underline both the fields. Yeah. So it just went their separate ways. Maybe it was also important because that was the time when these disciplines were flourishing, discovering and exploring their own strength, their own field of studies. But that did not mean that they had no connection with each other. This is how it looked like. Yeah, in the time the sciences, the different disciplines were trying to unfold their areas. Yeah, and so the subjective art and the objective science of 19th and 20th century caused a historical split between imagination and fact, and that continues to impact contemporary attitudes in the society. So now also we see that we relate subjectivity to art and objectivity to science. Okay, so that started in the 19th century. Science and art are still stereotypically considered to be in opposition to each other in intellectual field. For example, once you have completed your maybe I'll just keep it here for some time. So, for example, once you have completed your 10th grade, the question is posed to you whether you will take art subjects or science. By art, it means wide range of subjects: history, political science, sociology, literature, again, literature in different languages. Only to some extent, geography, economics, and psychology are considered science subjects. But I know one of my students who was studying chemistry in 5 years integrated course at the Pondicherry University. He shared with me that he wanted to study chemistry because of science fiction that he read. Or I will give you another example where one eighth standard student, she shared with me that she would like to study history, chemistry, and visual arts. By the same simple categorization that we have made, it may seem awkward combination. However, if you see logically, visual art, chemistry experiments, and our history that bases itself on archaeological findings, they all makes they all make sense together when they are interconnected, and they support a more integrated and holistic learning. Yeah. So, on the other hand, this extreme separation of art and science has created a gap in the society, and individually, these fields don't seem to address the issues at the societal level. Yeah. So, in an article examining the potential of art science collaborations in the Anthropocene, a case study of catching a wave, it is stated there is a disconnect between ambition and achievement of the UN Agenda 2030 and associated sustainable development goals that is spatially apparent when it comes to ocean and coastal health. While scientific knowledge is critical to confront and resolve contradictions that reduce unsustainable practices at the coast and to spark global societal change towards sustainability, it is not enough in itself to catalyze large scale behavioral change. People learn, understand, and generate knowledge in different ways according to their experiences, perspectives, and culture, amongst others, which shape responses and willingness to alter behavior. The authors of this article argue that, and which I have also talked about above, that historically there has been a connection between art and science, as both the fields aim to understand and describe the world around us, and thereby provide avenues for communication and inquiry, as there is an overlap in art science fields, because reading a science fiction may inspire one to study chemistry, or a youngster may find interest in studying both history and chemistry along with visual art, or for the sustainability and effectiveness of the implementation of a program, it may be considered important to club science and art together. Hence, recently, we noticed some of the art science collaborations already taking place. A few of them are shared here. Merit Moore, physicist and ballet dancer, conceived the artwork Shall We Dance with the hope to provide a creative tool for human expression and further robotics research. So you can see this piece of work she prepared during, I guess, COVID time, and her knowledge of robot helped her in making the robot a partner in the dance. So with this particular program, she traveled in many different parts of the world, so it contributes. Science and technology is used in the art and vice versa. We can say that she brings her aesthetic of dance in the robotic, in the way the robot functions. So Moore's knowledge of physics helped her in the visualization and the optimization of her movements while she was training herself as a ballet dancer. So you can see how you can see the body, how she is making use of it, and she is of the view that science has helped her in learning dance better. She felt caught up between being a student of physics and a trainee of ballet dance, both the fields being equally demanding. She did not have the same hours to train that dancers attending ballet schools full time have, but her knowledge of physics helped her to enhance her practice and make it more effective. After all, dance obeys Newton's laws of motion. Concepts such as torque, moment of inertia, and center of mass allowed Moore to understand at an analytical level how she could achieve certain types of movement with her body, helping her to perfect dance moves more quickly. So, the knowledge of quantum physics and the ability to analyze it helped her in her creative pursuit, that is, in doing something creatively. Another interesting aspect of her body of work as a dance is making use of technology creatively. Her creative work, in which she is dancing with a robot, has traveled many countries and has been performed on many renowned stages. Let's have a glance of that. Okay. So, well, isn't it very enchanting? So, another interesting art science collaboration happened at the Cornell University. The French artist Karen Bonneval and the scientist Matthias Rilling from Free University Berlin, led by Kyle Wiekings from the Cornell University, developed an interdisciplinary project, Sound of Soil, at the Cornell University. According to the Cornell Chronicle reports, for an outdoor installation as per part of her exhibition, Vertimus, at Cornell in fall 2019, she, Karen Bonneville, recorded sounds from three different locations across Cornell's campus, took soil samples that she turned into sculptures and plays back the sounds through speakers. The visitor hears soil teeming with life. Karen's work brought together engineers, bioacousticians, and natural scientists to develop new research across disciplines that would otherwise not have met. So you can see here it is an artist who can hear the sound of the soil, and then what she creates does not only just involve other people, but it also becomes uh, um, it it becomes uh, it becomes a topic of research, like soils have different sounds in different places. So here I share another example of where science marries art. May Carol Jamieson is an astronaut, a medical doctor, an art collector, and a dancer. Coincidentally, all three examples I have shared are from women. She became the first African American woman to travel into space when she served as a mission specialist aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992. Mae Jemison is of the view that science and art are not separate. According to her, if we keep thinking that the arts are separate from the sciences and that it is cute to say, I don't understand anything about the arts or I don't understand anything about the sciences, then we are going to have problems, Jamieson tells. And hence she recommends that the two subjects, art and science, must be redefined and must be taught together in creating a more progressive future in the next generation. Jemison is of the view that we have to stop seeing art and science as dichotomous films. Sorry. So let's listen to an excerpt from her talk in which she combines her dance with her career as astronaut. Like she talks about, she doesn't dance, but she talks about it. So let's go to this video again.
When I was a little girl, 8th grade, I pitched a fit in order to get my mother to enroll me in dance classes. I was beside myself, and she did. I wanted to be dancing because it was exhilarating, because it was fun. It was another way of creativity. Of course, I still love dance. I don't do it as much, but I hope maybe these days I could do Dancing with the Stars, right? Somebody's going to suggest, I don't know. We could try that out. A 12-year-old girl once asked me, how did dance contribute to your success as an astronaut? And her class laughed, right? Because they didn't see the connection. But I told her, it really did make a difference. Dance, it trains you in terms of practice, in terms of memory, physical skills and coordination, and just being thick-skinned. So when I think about the arts and the physical sciences, I think that they're both parts of creativity, but they're different because of what they express. I think of the physical sciences as our ability to try to understand the world around us, the universe as it's experienced by everyone, and then trying to influence that universe. And I think of the arts as our attempt to have other people understand our personal perspective of the universe. The arts and the sciences, they provide a fuller understanding of the universe and the world around us. They provide a fuller communication together of what and who we are as people.
Okay, so in India, ISC Bangalore recognized this art science relationship and asked Vitasta Das to design a humanities course for the students of the Indian Institute of Sciences in 2016. Das, who has an undergraduate degree in botany and postgraduate degree in cultural studies, was inspired by Indian folklore when she designed the humanities course at IISC. As a part of this course, the students were asked to make a painting using uh, Indian folk art forms to depict scientific concepts. So here you can see they are trying to depict the extinction of dinosaur by using a Sohrai style of tribal art. I think I read a little bit about it. It's a tribal art from Hazaribagh in Bihar, and that folk art has been taken, and through that the students try to um, explain some scientific concept or phenomena. So there are institutions which are working towards bringing art science closer through the collaborative program projects. Though both the fields have their own diverse and wide ranging interests, what brings them closer? Enhancement of human understanding and experiencing the world are the creative impulse of both the fields. And the symbiotic relationship of art and science is pertinent on the face of changing individual and collective social and cultural values. The need to revamp this relationship is felt today. It has yielded in artists and scientists collaborations over few projects with the aim to develop a common language between two disciplines to work towards a more integral solution for a given problem through the collaborations of scientists and artists. Art does not have to get lost in science, neither science has to dilute itself in art. The collaboration between two fields could be aimed towards developing understanding of existing engagements between science and culture, developing conceptual understanding of each other's field, interaction of knowledge systems in art and science fields, exploring the dimensions of connecting points of two fields, contributing to the discussions on the evolution of art science discipline. There can be more. Maybe you can help us in um, contributing to how do you see, how do you perceive this kind of collaboration? So, already in their respective fields, both science and art have been challenging old structures and almost walking resonating paths parallel. Acknowledgement, awareness, and sharing of the ongoing experiments in both fields may lead to new ways of thinking essential to deal with the complexities of today's issues, lives, needs, demands of our societies. It is need of our time to think across and between the disciplines to develop, to respond to the complex challenges of our time. Art science collaborations can help to understand and communicate environmental, social, and cultural challenges which are intertwined to each other in novel ways. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And so I'm finished with the lecture. So,
Okay. Uh, Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful lecture. Seriously, I mean, we did not know so many things actually about the combination of this art and science, which actually you gave this. I mean, you gave so many examples in your lecture. So, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was really very nice. It was a wonderful talk. So yeah, you started actually with the with that, you know, picture which was actually saying that there is not much difference between, actually previously during the, I mean, in ancient times, in the medieval period, there was not much difference between art and science. And then, you know, gradually, you know, they started having their own domains, and they started having their own interest also, wide ranging interest in fact. And because of that, those commonalities actually started getting obscure. So yeah, so we could understand. And now again, you know, people have started realizing that no, I mean, there is, I mean, you we can have so many contributions. Science people can have so many contributions from the art, and art people can have so many, you know, involvement from the science itself. So it was really a very wonderful lecture. And I particularly like those examples of Marriott Moore and this Karen Bonneville and May Jennison. In fact, I mean, I was very interested in physics when I was a school kid. I mean, I was very much interested in astronomy. And when I got to know that about that astronaut May Jennison, and the video that you showed about the cosmic dance with May Jennison, it was really very interesting. And then you gave very, you know, very useful points regarding art science collaboration, namely developing the understanding of existing engagements between science and culture, developing conceptual understanding of each other's field, interaction of knowledge systems in art and science fields, exploring the dimensions of connecting points of these two fields, of course, and contributing to the discussion on the evolution of art and science. So these points, along with, I hope that in the subsequent lectures some more points will be will emerge, and we will be having lots and lots of things to discuss about regarding this art and science collaboration. So thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful talk and for such wonderful, you know, presentation. So now I would like to ask to the audience, to the participants, if they have any remarks or suggestions or any questions to the speaker. Are there any questions? Yeah, I think
Okay.
I have one question,
Yes.
ma'am. Like, I mean, you presented those examples, right? I mean, those Marriott Moore, Karen Berneville, and May Jennison. So, what do you see? Like, I mean, how would you see this art and science collaboration in the future? Like, I mean, you must have. I mean, I know that you have used so many scientific theories in your research. So, what do you see about the future of it?
I see it at two levels. One level is like already what is visible that in the field of art. By that I mean not only visual art but also like what do you call installations or action art or theater. In these arts now there is uh, science and technology is contributing a lot. It is not just based on human action. So there is a like there is a very creative and innovative use of technology in performance in the field of performance studies like performance art. So that is one thing. So already you see that the invention of the science being used very open with the open arms. So that is one aspect. Second aspect is that there are projects where it is thought that to be able, like you are like you know that about the science there is a big awe about the science subjects, I mean natural science subjects, that we will not understand it. I think this we have to come out of this fear of natural science field. It's not that somebody is very intelligent and that's why somebody took sciences, and somebody is not intelligent, that's why somebody did not take science. Rather, it could be that there are diverse interests, and based on their interests, people choose to do what they choose to do. So, in that field, why there is a gap between science and art? Suppose you're studying science and I'm studying art, and I don't understand science. Whereas maybe you, if you want, you will be able to understand quite a bit of arts. So maybe there is something like communication that can be established between the two fields. That is one thing. And the third thing is like, what about the people who have interest in both?
Yeah.
So, like I gave you one example, somebody is interested in chemistry and also history.
Yeah.
So, and there is an obvious connection between these fields. So, it's important to address to these needs and also think in a more liberal way about and come out of this rigidity of individual fields. So, I guess
Yeah,
so. I
exactly. Like May Jennison has said, no, that if you are thinking in this way, that I mean, if you feel that it is cute to say that I don't know anything about the art and I don't know anything about the
Yeah,
science,
exactly.
you are
And
happy.
it's very often that we hear that. It's just very
Exactly.
calm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's cool to
Yeah.
say this, but it's not actually,
Exactly.
according to us, it's not so cool to say this actually. Yeah, it's very
Exactly.
uncool, in fact.
It's very uncool to say like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I think so. I see it's again moving, the two fields coming closer. There will be a lot of interdisciplinarity is already there. Within
Mm.
humanities, you will see there is interdisciplinarity. People involved, they are mixing the theories from a field of literature and social sciences and psychology. That happens very often. But now there will be a step forward to include also natural science. I see it happening, and not only at the level of practice, also at the level of theory. Because for example, the author that I chose for my PhD, conceptually they were so loaded words that I had to look for those words in the realm of science, and that could explain few things for me. So even at the level of concept, at the level of theory, science can also become a tool to understand the art subjects, you mean a literature or philosophy. So I see not only at the level of practice, but also at the level of theory, there is much give and take can happen between these fields.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I feel also.
Yes.
Yeah. So, any other? I mean, it is open for discussion if someone wants to discuss anything. I mean, it's not necessary that you'll have to ask. Yeah, Mushtaq Ali?
I guess I'm audible, ma'am.
Yeah, 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 you
Yes.
are audible.
That was a nice piece of knowledge for us, definitely. And rather than supporting each other's in practical, visual, tangible things, both science and arts, definitely we appreciate that literature always motivated scientists by means of fiction and all. And in the same way, like the example you cited, that renowned dancer who used the technology to dance with a robot. uh, can we think a little more to theoretical way, like the methods of literature and arts, like criticism, aesthetics? Can we use these things meaningfully in science to explain the nature better?
Hmm. Yes,
Can
ma'am.
I, may I answer? Actually,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is just an introductory lecture, first lecture. This is exactly what we intend to do in the series later, like the uh, concepts and theories, how they can support each other. I will talk in my next lecture. I will be talking about the natural sciences, the theory of natural sciences, how it has been taken into the field of performance aesthetics. If you are from the science background, probably it will be for you to figure out that time or reflect on it that time, whether it can also happen vice versa, in my view.
Are you from science background, sir, or
Yes, ma'am.
like?
Yes, ma'am. I'm from Department of
Yeah,
Mathematics.
yeah. This is the second lecture, ma'am. You can give the title of the second lecture also right now because
I just
yeah.
came to know about this lecture series just today.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah,
Thanks
just
for joining.
a couple of minutes ago.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
we have recorded the session, sir. We will share with
Definitely, we'll be happy to watch that.
You
this.
can give the title of the second series, ma'am. I mean, I think it will answer the question which sir is.
Okay. The next lecture is about explaining aesthetics of performative in the field of natural sciences.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I can just give you a little bit idea, because As I was telling Pallavi ma'am that um, because the theory which I used for my PhD, it had the concept like autopoiesis, no, autopoietic. So then I started exploring from where does the term come, and I got to figure it out. I read about it that it comes from the field of sciences like biology or something. So the term is taken from there, the origin is from there. So then there was another, the theorist whose theory I used. She proposed, she suggested that maybe further this theory which she is proposing can be linked to the theory of chaos theory. So that is how it led me to the natural sciences. And here is the, I'm sharing it in the chat box, explaining aesthetics of performative in the field of natural sciences. So this is the next one, next topic that we will be addressing. And then after that, we will have two more lectures, which are um, um, which where we see art science relationship from the perspective of
Art and
science
mathematics, yeah,
mathematics. Yes. So
mathematics.
we are trying to go both ways. From art we go towards science, from science we come towards art.
Yeah, thanks, man. That cleared actually.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other? We can discuss. I mean, we can, if you have any points, if you want to include some points regarding this collaboration, you can give your points also. You can give your remarks also. Any suggestions? How should we further go about it? Because this is one of the sessions. This is the first session anyway, and it was an introductory lecture. So if you want to give any suggestions or remarks, please feel free to do so. Okay, so I think there is not any, ma'am.
Okay, so in that case, we can
Okay, so
put to you. Yeah.
one second, ma'am. Okay, so now I would like to take this opportunity to give my thanks to Dr. Arti for giving such a wonderful talk, for such a wonderful presentation. And I know under which circumstances actually we we actually could do this series and could do this first session. I will not go into that, but I'm really very grateful and thankful to Dr. Arti, who. Actually, I mean, I came to her with an idea, and then she completely changed it into a I mean, that idea into a series actually. So thank you so much, ma'am. And
Okay.
then, I mean, we will be meeting again. I mean, we will be meeting in the second session, and I want to inform all the participants that the second session will be on 25th October at the same time. And we are requesting your presence, and we hope that you all will be present in the second session. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. I really, and it was a great opportunity for me. So thanks a lot. Thank you everyone for listening. See you in the next session. Please tell others also if you think there are other faculties or research students, even the students who could be interested. Because we like to grow this community of the people who think alike, who think art and science should come closer. So please spread the words around. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.